Alright, everybody. Welcome to episode 257 of Psykos Platters, always powered by coffee each and every time. Straight out of my holiday mug from Waffle House I picked up a few years back. This actually holds 2 cups of coffee. As everyone waits for Mighty Psycho to have the heart attack. So, this is going to be another one of those miscellaneous episodes. It's actually a miscellaneous episode in a VCLT, along with some books and a few other things. Wanted to start off the episode, of course, dedicated to Donnie McGuire. Yes, Donnie McGuire, who was a friend of mine and also a radio DJ who passed away November 20th. I know you're doing up there real well, sir. I know you are. Godspeed. And prayers of healing to the family. Okay, so I ended up getting a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of plethora of things. Let's start off with a CD really quick. It says $11.99, but that's not what I paid for it. I think it was like $8. Beatles at the BBC, yes, from the mid-90s. Actually, I think it was 93 this came out, and I never had it. I never had a copy of this. I just never could seem to come across one, and then finally I've got this one. Cannot wait to really listen to this, because I've only heard bits and pieces of this over the years. Now I just need to snag volume 2, and I'd be really happy with that. So I got a handful of 45s. The 45s, a couple of them I picked up over at a Salvation Army, a couple towns down. And then the Beatles one I'll show you I got from Antique Mall. Reasonably priced, actually, here in town as well. So, right off the bat, yep, got my research. Always got my research. This one was actually, to me, a little bit of a surprise. The vinyl is good. But there's a slight label thing on the label, but I don't care. For 50 cents a piece, I'm glad I got these. So Smiley Lewis, ladies and gentlemen, Smiley Lewis, Little Liza Jane from 1958. Oh, what a corker this one is. Oh, man, I'll tell you about it in a second, though. His real name was Overton Amos Lemons. He was born in DeQuincy, Louisiana, started playing in the 30s in the French Quarter. He cut his first sessions in 1947 for Deluxe Records, but didn't last long there. Dave Bartholomew, of course, who worked with Fats Domino at Imperial Records, invited him to Imperial in early 1950. His first hit was The Bells Are Ringin' in 1952. He was the first to record Blue Monday in 1954, but it went nowhere for Smiley. Fats, of course, cut it. In 56, gets the hit. In 55, though, his biggest hits, I Hear You Knocking, which, I gotta confess, I knew he did the song, but I'm so used to hearing Dave Edmunds do it. And of course, when Dave Edmunds does it, in the chorus, he goes off and yells, "Smiley Lewis!" And I'm like, that's a nice little shout out. So, he put I Hear You Knocking in 55. He does with Huey Smith on piano. Imperial, though, lets him loose in 1961 after years of trying to make him sing pop and country to no avail. He does a one-off for OK and Dot and Loma. Hospitalized in 1965, originally with an ulcer, but they discovered stomach cancer, and he passes away in October of 66 at the age of 53. Like I said, Little Liza Jane is a corker. That thing rocks. It swings for the couple minutes it's there. And the flip side here, My Love Is Gone, that's a nice little one too. It's a nice slow blues cooker. Okay, so Smiley Lewis, Little Liza Jane. This next one kind of was strange to me. I got it mainly for the label. On Zab Records out of Memphis, Tennessee, someone stamped review copy on this. Bowlegs and his band One More Time Part 1. The flip side is One More Time Part 2. This is the original label to this. This was released in early 61, I'm assuming, on this, considering that it got picked up by VJ in September of 61. Now, there's not a lot of information on this, but Bowlegs was Gene Bowlegs Miller. Of course, like I said, it's for this first 45 picked up by VJ. He had other 45s on Zab, Gold Wax, and High, but he was done by late 69, except for a one-off in 74. Now, Very, very cool tune. Both parts are. Part 1 is an instrumental that lasts almost 2 minutes. This is part 2. Actually has a little bit of vocals in front of the instrumental mix. Several different websites have termed this Northern Soul. I guess I could see some of the elements of that, but just very, very cool to have. I saw this swinging on some vinyl sites going from $20 to $40. Probably almost, it needs to be cleaned up, but 20 to 40 bucks for this. Not too shabby for bow legs. Okay, so I found a Beatles 45, and this place that I found it at had a handful of Beatles 45s, but oh man, the rest of them, they were all, except the one I have in my hand, the rest of them were all Capitals, and they just didn't look so good. This was the best one out of all of them. And I had a copy of this a long, long time ago, of the Beatles on Tolly, Love Me Do, and P.S. I Love You. But this actually, it needs to be slightly cleaned. But it's in really nice shape, visually. I was very, very surprised about this. Okay. This is one of those 45s that I remember buying in the early 1980s. And it always stuck with me. I always liked this. I always liked this 45. Even though it was the first UK 45 for the Beatles, and it went up to number 18 on the charts. It was a nice first stab. Please Please Me obviously raised the bar some, but I always just had a charm for this 45. Alright, a lot of this information from 45cat and YokoOno.co.uk for this next part. Released on Tolly on April 27, 1964. Tolly actually was created in February 1964. It's a VJ subsidiary. In that February 1964, the first 45 was the Beatles' Twist and Shout with the flip of There's a Place. That was the first one. So, they had the rights to the Please Please Me LP and the first 3 UK singles, making it 16 total tracks in all. And they had those rights until late 1964, when Capitol got the rights and, of course, jumped in on all of this. On this 45 is the Andy White drumming version. Now, I happened to pick up years ago at a resale shop up in Illinois. I found a Canada Capitol 45 of Love Me Do, and I remember finding that, and it just looked so weird to me. I'm like, wait a minute, Capitol Swirl? What the hell? This isn't a US release. That's how I discovered, of course, that it was a Canadian import. But the Capitol Canada 45 actually has the Ringo drumming on the tune, okay? So, the Canada 45 was released in February 1963. This Tolly one here went to number 1 on Billboard for Love Me Do, number 10 for P.S. I Love You. Tolly shut down in May of 1965. They only ended up putting out 43 singles, I'm told. There's another one that's non-Beatle related I'm looking for. Sam Fletcher. Sam Fletcher, who's a Northern Soul artist, cut a really nice one on Tolly. I would love to find that. Now, just to get a little technical, 3 different factories made this 45. Monarch in Los Angeles. Most of the time with the Monarchs, it's straight lettering. So instead of the Tolly in the box, you just have the word Tolly in straight capital letters. American Record Pressing in Oswego, Michigan, had the Tollys in the box, like you're seeing here. And Southern Plastics out of Nashville. Southern Plastics, though, used vinyl and not styrene. Bruce Spizer's Beatles on VJ book states there are 16 different label variations. Oh my God. Oh, that drives me crazy. There's even a black label version. Yeah, black label version, straight Tolly lettering. I saw pictures of that on 45cat. VJ, by the way, in 1963, did try, of course, to sell Beatles singles, as a lot of you Beatle fans know. But there wasn't many takers back then. But From Me to You, in August of 1963, placed number 47 on the KISN radio charts out of Portland, Oregon. Thought that was kind of interesting. So, when it comes to this, I've never seen the straight lettering. Doug Fields, I think, showed me a straight lettering Tolly. I did see a different Tolly, though, at a different antique mall. And I don't know if that one's legit or not. And if you know, put it in the comments, please. It was purple. It, like, some of the print, like the Tolly box was, the borders were purple or something in print. I've never seen one, and I've never seen it since. In fact, I know where it's at, and I could get it, but I'm not spending the money they want for it. But I just thought that was interesting. All right, some albums. Now, I got some VCLT, like I told you guys. The VCLT came from Donna Jo Catlady. Yes, Donna Jo Catlady, one of my friends. She ended up giving me about 20 albums, and I'm not going to show you all 20. But I will show you the top 5, at least to me. Alright, the other stuff was like Floyd Kramer, Marty Robbins, Dean Martin, a bunch of other things. So, I got these 5 here. So we've got up first, from 1962, George Jones, My Favorites of Hank Williams. This, of course, on the United Artists label, the black label. This is his second tribute LP. The first actually came out on Mercury in 1960. Jones actually met Williams in 1949 as a teenager, and he actually also was involved in a radio session. But here's the funny part. Hank goes into the tune, and George was so amazed, and his mouth was wide open, he didn't play one lick on the guitar. And by the time the song was over with, he was like, so go figure. This is the front, this is the back. I always liked George Jones. I don't know. I just did. I'm glad I got to see him perform once, and I do have an autograph somewhere around here on a CD from George. It was very, very nice. Number 2 and 3. I actually had a copy of this, but not in great shape like these are. Percy Sledge, When a Man Loves a Woman. Both of these albums I'm going to show you from 1966 on Atlantic. Both in mono, and I'm not kidding you, they're in really nice shape. They really, really are. Of course, let's see here. When a Man Loves a Woman was number 1 on the charts for the single in '66. There's the front, there's the back. I always liked his voice too. Followed by, later in the year, Percy Sledge, Warm and Tender Soul, also in mono on Atlantic, front and back. The single for that came out at number 17 on the charts. Unfortunately, Percy dies of liver cancer in 2015, so he's no longer with us. This next one, I know you're probably going, huh? Because I've never shown this guy before. And I don't know, for some reason, I just happened to get a kick out of him. Greatest Hits Volume 1, Tommy Overstreet. Here's the front and here's the back. This is on, of course, ABC Dot. Now, a little research on Tommy. He was born in Oklahoma City in 1937, but grew up in Houston and Abilene, Texas. He first recorded in the late 1950s at Norman Petty's studio out of Clovis, New Mexico, with Jimmy Gilmer and the Fireballs. I would love to hear that stuff, honestly. In 1960, he went and recorded at Roulette with Doc Severinsen on trumpet. Yeah, Doc Severinsen from the Tonight Show band. He ended up working with him in '60. In '67, he was hired to manage Dot Records, but started recording again in 1970. And of course, he made Hee Haw appearances, and his last LP was in 1983. And well, he passed away in Oregon in 2015. So, I guess briefly, even Tommy had a Northwest Arkansas connection, I'm told, too. Which was kind of cool. That's half the reason why I got interested. This last LP from 1977, Smokey Robinson, Deep in My Soul. This was Smokey's 5th solo LP. Here's the front, here's the back. I don't really have a lot to go on this one. I tried. It made it to number 47 on the Billboard pop charts. He only ended up writing one song involved in this somehow. Vitamin U was his only involvement in this. But I guess one of the songs that, and I listened to it and it seemed alright, You Cannot Laugh Alone. Go listen to that track. It's an interesting little crooner track for Smokey. Because remember, kids, when Smokey sings "I Hear Violins," yeah, all right, okay. All right. Let's see. Let me show you some books. Okay, these are all books that I have picked up over the last week. Alright, Black Friday, no, not Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale. I ended up saving 15 bucks on this sucker. I have not had a chance to take a look at it yet. Still smells nice and fresh. Lydia Criss, Peter Criss's ex-wife, Sealed with a Kiss. This is a nice coffee table book. I've flipped through a few pages of this. But the thing is that I saved $15 pretty much because she signed it to me. Now, the thing is, and I'm not going to complain about this because it says to Paul Peace. Close enough. I'm going to tell you, I've had a few people over my decades here have thought that I have said peace instead of peace because that is my last name. In fact, I almost was going to go off and use it as a disc jockey name until somebody in Rockford, Illinois on Oldies 95.3 used it. So I'm like, but he's gone now. So who knows? Maybe I'll end up going back to Paul Peace. Oh boy. But Sealed with a Kiss from Lydia Criss. It is, by the way, available on her website at lydiacriss.com. Okay. This I thought was interesting for 75 cents. It is dated 1998, so some of this is going to be a little old, though. But the Progressive Rock Files. Yes, the Progressive Rock Files by Jerry Lucky. It said here, special bonus CD, 28 minutes of Rare Floyd. Yeah, right. Somebody, of course, took that damn CD out, but I can tell you what it was. It said track 1 was Pink Floyd's Interstellar Overdrive, track 2 was Nick's Boogie, track 3, David Hockney interview, track 4, Lee Marvin interview, and it all had to do with Tonight, Let's All Make Love in London. Well, if I remember correctly, I already have at least the 2 songs from that 99 Floyd bootleg anthology that I picked up. I'll show you those, kind of neat. They put some album pictures. Most of this is, of course, in black and white. But for 75 cents, I wasn't going to screw that up. That's for sure. This one's a little out there, I guess. And I know you'll roll your eyes. Wonderful, wonderful. The autobiography of Lawrence Welk. I'm told that he did do a book signing, or maybe even 2 book signings back in 1972 when this was a hardcover. I actually came across one, or at least I think it was a real one, but I'm not sure. I didn't get it for some reason. And the only reason why I got this had nothing actually to do with Lawrence. Lawrence didn't sign this, and it's personalized, but not to me. The Lennon sisters. This was 50 cents I paid for this. And it was the Lennon sisters, okay, and right here there was 4 original members that signed this thing. One has since died, so I mean, kind of interesting. I'll probably read the book too. Beatles. I had this many moons ago, and I don't know how it ended up disappearing, but from Peter Brown. The Love You Make, an insider's story. I like the cover, of course, which is a photo from the Beatles' Mad Day Out sessions in '68, in May of '68. I think I remember actually thinking that this was a interesting read. Let's see if I can show you a picture. Okay, Inner Circle: Paul, John, Neil Aspinall, Mal Evans, Ringo, and George. All right. So this one, if I remember correctly, came out 83. Yeah, I knew it was an early 80s one. And I might have even gotten that brand new too. I can't remember. Okay, and for a buck, I wasn't going to pass this up. Temptations from Otis William. Yes, the Temptations. Papa was a rolling stone. Here's the front. Here's the back. I wish this was signed. I'm not going to lie. But you know, the thing with Otis, yeah, this came out in 88. Otis is the last one. Otis is, I'm surprised Otis is still alive, honestly. I would love to find his address and get this signed by him. It'd be an honor to get this signed by him. I'm not sure if he's touring anymore. I know he was having health issues. Hopefully I'm wrong on that. But if he is touring, it's probably extremely limited. And lastly, I thought this was pretty cool. I picked this up for a couple bucks pretty much. Between Rock and a Home Place, Chuck Leavell. Chuck Leavell, of course, has been in a bunch of bands, but mainly the Allman Brothers Band and the Rolling Stones, as well as being their keyboard player on tour and occasionally on record as well, along with being in the band, the offshoot band Sea Level, Allman Brother offshoot. Can't wait to read this, but it's signed Rock On, Chuck Leavell. This came out, yeah, 04. So, kind of neat to find this. It's almost 15 years old, but like I said, I like Chuck Leavell's work with the Allmans, and I do have Sea Level stuff and the Stones. So that is it for the books. Okay. New subscriber for the week, Samuel Bay. Samuel Bay. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Samuel. Thank you very much for being into the Psycho Platter Network, and more episodes to come. Okay, I want to leave you with, I'm going to try to leave you with a fact or something that might help you collect. I'm going to do the best I can every week or whenever I do these shows. Like, for example, I ordered a signed CD from the March 2018 Stephen Stills and Judy Collins Everybody Knows album. And if you're a Stephen Stills fan or a Judy Collins fan, I'm more of a Stephen Stills fan, but Judy's alright. You can actually get that album signed right now at a decent price at merchbar.com. It's $13.55 plus shipping. It ends up being about 18 bucks when you're all said and done with it. So if you're a big Stephen Stills and Judy Collins fan, go grab that CD. There's still some in stock. It'll be shipped from the UK, by the way. So if you do it the next day or two, you could get it for Christmas. That's right, you could get it for Christmas. Wax Museum with Ronnie Dark and Night Owl Lounge with Mike Adams. Sunday nights, 6 to 9 p. and 9 to 10 p. Central Standard Time. Go like their pages on Facebook and check them out through uberstations.com under 87.7 WVOA out of Syracuse, New York. Tim Smith. Yes, Tim Smith and company. Oh boy, I'm tired, guys. I guess I'm really tired. My friend Doug Fields, Vinyl Grotto. I know he's been sick, unfortunately, so prayers go out to him. And of course, the YouTube Vinyl community. Without the YouTube Vinyl community, we wouldn't be able to do any of this stuff, right, guys? Right. So until next time, take care. God bless. Rock on. I think the next one's going to probably be another LP episode. Because I got a bunch. Oh, I got a bunch. Alright. Take care, guys.